Have you ever sat down, ran the numbers, looked at your budget and said something doesn't add up? And you're doing all the things. You've cut back, you're tithing, you're praying, you're doing all the religious things, but the math still isn't mathing. If so, this video is for you. Because sometimes the issue isn't faith or finances, the issue is strategy. Hey friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Brianna Whiteside, and welcome to Recession Millionaires, where we talk about money because we are in another millionaire cycle. If you don't know, 2020 ushered in some new millionaires in 2021 and 2022 because they were positioned. We all know that recessions build millionaires. Well, we find ourselves here again in 2025. That means that God has given us another opportunity to become millionaires. Now, I didn't know enough in 2020. I know more now, and I'm sharing everything I know. So if you're ready to be in the 2026, 2027 cohort, I want you to hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and leave me a comment. I actually want to start this video off with a biblical story, and we're going to look at 2 Kings 4. And this is the story of the widow and the prophet Elijah. And one thing that we know is that the widow went to the prophet Elijah in desperation. We see in the story that the woman's husband is dead. She's in debt, though he was a man of God, and the creditors are about to come and take her child. Ultimately, this story is jam-packed with a lot of desperation, and we know that this lady is out of options. But the one thing I really find fascinating is that when she goes to this prophet Elijah, he does not give her money. He does not bail her out of her situation. Instead, he gives her strategy. Let's look at the text. In 2 Kings verse 2 and 4, it says, and this is in the NIV, and she says, the wife of a man from a company of prophets cried out to Elijah, your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that he revered the Lord. But now his creditors is coming to take my 2 boys as his slaves. Elijah replied to her, how can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house? Your servant has nothing there at all, she said, except a small jar of olive oil. Elijah said, go around and ask all your neighbors for empty jars. Don't ask for just a few. Then go inside and shut the door behind you and your son. Pour oil into all of the jars, and as each one is filled, put it to one side. She left him and shut the door behind her and her sons. They brought the jars to her, and she kept pouring. When all the jars were full, she said to her son, bring me another one. But he replied, there is not a jar left. Then the oil stopped flowing. She went and told the man of God, and he said, go, sell the oil and pay your debts. You and your sons can live on what is left. I think this story is important for multiple reasons. Number one, she comes to him in desperation. She thinks she is all out of options, but she is not all out of options. She has the raw materials and has access to raw materials that would allow her not only to just get out of debt, not only to just pay her creditors, but to live comfortably throughout the rest of her life. Elijah asks her, what do you have in your house? And then she says, nothing except a jar of oil. That's what a lot of people do. A lot of people discredit the things that God has given them or the materials that they have access to because they don't seem grand. We say, oh, I don't have anything. I don't know how to do it. There's no way. There's no way for me to do anything. But the widow had to remember the only thing that I do have after she says nothing, it's funny. She says nothing, and then she says, but a jar of oil. So is it nothing or is it a jar of oil? Which one? Because nothing means absolutely nothing. A jar of oil means you have one thing. And the thing she discredited was the solution she didn't know she already had. In this story, the widow only needed help seeing what she already had. She needed help seeing it differently. So this story leads me to wonder, what if the very thing you've been dissing as not enough is the thing that God actually wants to multiply to position you to become a recession millionaire? Unfortunately, we've been conditioned to ask for a miracle. I need a miracle. I need a miracle. No, God is saying you need instruction. You don't need a miracle because sometimes miracles operate as lottery systems. We don't get to control them. God decides who gets a miracle. We don't. But if you have instruction, you won't be at the mercy of a miracle. Friends, it's time out for sitting on your ability, from sitting on those skills, from sitting on that one story you never thought to use. Maybe you are great at design. Maybe you are great at explaining things. Maybe people do come to you and ask for advice. That's oil, and the oil is intelligent. The oil that was poured in the bottles was intelligent, and when she ran out of bottles, it stopped flowing. Your oil is intelligent. Your oil can give you access. Your oil can lead you into places that you never thought, but you have to stop discrediting it. And this is why many believers are financially stuck. Because ultimately, we over spiritualize everything rather than strategize. We expect increase without making room for it, and we expect provision ignoring the need for a plan. So let me give you a real world example. You're believing for a new income stream, but you haven't already explored the skills that you already have. Or you're expecting a raise, but you haven't updated your resume or CV in 5 years. Does that make sense to you? With that type of math? No, because that is showing you that you lack strategy somewhere. Sometimes it's not that God isn't moving, it's that we are not positioned. And only you know what positioning means for you. And this points to another problem because the money is not delayed. Our mindsets are generally delayed. So here are 3 steps that you can implement that will help you get unstuck and help the math begin to math, to help you get out of that delayed place, because it's time for us to catch up. We have to catch up. Number 1, I want you to inventory your oil. What's already in your house? Physically, emotionally, mentally, or intellectually? What do you do with these? What do people come to you for? Those are just starting point questions. Number 2, I want you to refuse to freeze. Financial pressure leads to paralysis, but I want you to overcome that by taking 1 step this week. You can sell 1 product. You can move your savings into a high yield savings account. You can apply for an opportunity. You can offer a service. The opportunities are endless. I just don't want you to stay stuck. Number 3, I want you to ask heaven for strategic instruction and not just breakthrough. And here's how you do that. You're going to have to start praying differently. You're going to have to say something like, God, show me what to build. Show me what to release. Show me where I'm wasting my time. And you have to prepare yourself for heaven to answer you. So ultimately, what you should know is that God could have dropped gold coins out of the sky for the widow, but he didn't. Instead, he sent the prophet to give her a plan, because strategy preserves dignity. The prophet did not pray for her. The prophet did not say, I'm going to believe God for you. He gave her a strategy, because strategy that preserves your dignity activates agency, and then it multiplies. If there's nothing else I want you to take away from this teaching, it's this: miracles are God's mercy, but strategy is God's maturity. So if the math isn't mathing for you, I don't want you to cry. I want you to calculate. I don't want you to wait. I want you to build. And just as a recap, here's what I want you to do this week. Take inventory of your oil. What's in your house? Commit to 1 income producing action. Shift your prayers from rescue to strategy. So drop a comment below and let me know what your biggest financial frustration is, and maybe I can do a video around it for you. And don't forget to check out the rest of the Recession Millionaires playlist, because we're not just surviving in this season, we're building it. Friend, if you're in that place where the math isn't mathing, but you're doing all you can and you still feel stuck, then it's time for a strategy. And that's exactly what I help you create in our strategy sessions. In my one-on-one sessions, we don't just talk about the problem. We don't just go over the numbers. We find your hidden oil, clarify your direction, and build a clear path forward. In essence, the pressure that you may start feeling right now is not for you to panic. It may be your signal that you need to pivot. So book your one-on-one strategic session with me by clicking the link in the description, and let's figure this out together. I don't want you out there alone. I'll see y'all soon in another installment of Recession Millionaires. Bye, y'all.